Hello, in this video I'm going to mention the basic actions that the user can configure in their build flows. These steps are really simple to use and configure, such as hide a control, display a control, a tab, a field, a subgrid, an iframe, locking a control, locking a field, unlocking a field as well. For example, locking fields that is in a section, which enables the really fast configuration for the user just to choose a section that all fields related will be locked. Same for a tab. You can also lock all fields in a tab, and you can of course unlock a field, unlock fields in a section or fields in a tab. For attributes, you are able to set an attribute as required, as optional, or as recommended. Also, you are able to just select multiple fields or attributes to be for the value to be cleared from them, and we call it in build in the steps action set as empty, and we're going to see a demo shortly. We have also set focus to let the user to enable setting the focus on a tab automatically through build flows as well. We also enable for async or for the action that takes more than a second to show for the user progress indication, like a loading spinner with a text that it's loading. Simple as just choosing one step with the message. Of course, with the ability to hide it on a certain when, for example, a step is finished, or if there is an action like a condition that needs that spinner to stop, that to hide that progress indicator. We're gonna take short a demo after. For these simple, we will have different types, and of these types we will have. First is the single select steps, multi-select to enable fast configuration. For example, you want to lock three fields, you just choose them in one step rather than multiple steps. And we have no select steps, such as like setting refresh or save. We're gonna take a demo shortly. As we mentioned in our previous section of the video, talking about the simple steps of build flow and the actions that you can configure, we're going to take that in action and see it in the UI. So first, I'm going to create a new build flow. I'm going to call it basic steps and give it a unique name, basic. I'm gonna choose the lead table from here, and I'm gonna choose the form also, the lead form. I'm gonna save it, go ahead. I'm going to click on edit. First thing is a trigger, and here is basically where we configure the start of that logic, when this logic will be triggered. Simple as the trigger of a Power Automate Cloud Flow. And in here you have multiple options, such as form loaded, form saved, and the other where a tab is changed or a column is changed. For this demo, I will use when a form is loaded. I'm going to open the list of actions here. I'm going to see all the actions. For initializing variables and setting variables, that will be in a future video. I'm going to take the simple ones, as we have hide, which hides multiple controls. I'm gonna take a look here. So hide, you can have the ability to hide a tab, you have the ability to have a section, to hide a section, you have the ability to hide any other standard controls that you have on the form that you have selected. In this demo, I will just hide the I would have the tab files. in here that it on load, which means on load of the lead form, the files tab will be hidden. To see another one, also we have the opposite of hiding is displaying, and which also the same, you can display and hide multiples. To demo the multi-select, I will choose here files, and I'll choose also another tab like details, and also a contact, another section to hide, or let's choose to hide the topic. And displaying here, I will keep displaying the details and the topic field, and which is the opposite, but in that result we will have the files hidden only. Choosing another step as well, we have also lock, which locks a field to make it disabled. And here you are able to select only the fields, such as, for example, you can see description, industry, and so on. Notice that you cannot select a tab or a section inside here. However, we can just delete that. We have the ability to choose to lock fields that relates to a section. And here you all see all the sections here, and exactly I can just for example select the business card, and all the fields in the business card will be locked, set as disabled. Same thing for locking tab fields. So you choose a tab, you see the tabs, and inside a tab I can select details as an example, which will lock all the fields inside that tab. We have the opposite of these steps, which is unlocking a field, unlocking a section fields, and unlocking tab fields as well, which simply you can choose as well multiple controls and depends sections or tabs or fields as well. All of these are multi-select steps that are simple. You just select the controls, the forms controls, tabs, sections, fields, and so on that you want to configure these actions on without writing a single line of code. Now we're going to interact with something different here. We have different steps that also multi-select but works with attributes. So it's not for a separate control, because controls can be displayed multiple times in the same form. As an example, we have two fields, we can add it as two separate controls on the form. Now we have attributes, so we can select, for example, to have the topic to be optional or required. And in this example, we can see here that you can have all the standard attributes. That, for example, you can select a topic to be required, the job title, and the business phone. We have here the option to configure setting an attribute as recommended, which is basically it's like to show a blue plus sign on the field to recommend the user to fill it in. However, it will not stop the user from saving the record without filling it in. As an example, I can also choose, I will choose the mobile phone and the email address. The negation of setting as required is setting as optional as well. So I have the ability to, based on a certain condition or a certain logic, I can configure setting an attribute as optional. And in here, for example, I would just choose the job title to be optional back. We have another simple multi-select step with setting an attribute as null. So we remove the value we clear a value of a certain attribute or attributes. And in here, I can, based on a certain logic, I can say, for example, you can see here that it's tagged by its type. We have text, we have choice, we have double, and so on, lookups whatsoever. And in here, I can say that I want to clear the value of these fields. Another simple single select this time, it's only one select, is setting focus on a tab. So we have a step where it sets a focus on a certain tab, and you can see all the tabs. And in this example, I would choose details. The details tab, so on the form, when the form loads, it will set the details, set the focus on the details tab. And I will go ahead and publish it. All right, so the flow is published successfully. We can go to the lead form and we need to refresh. As you saw here, the logic has been like triggered because we configured the trigger to be on load, so the flow has been triggered. And we can see that the focus is set automatically to the details tab. We have all the fields of this tab is also disabled. You can see it's all locked. If I go to the summary tab, you can see the topic is required. The job title, it was required, and we have a different step to make it optional, so it's optional. Mobile business phone is required. Mobile phone and email is set as recommended. We had also the logic to also clear the email, so the email value is cleared, and that's it. So all the basic steps has been enabled and triggered as we configured our build flow.